The year 1989 marked a pivotal moment in history. Mikhail Gorbachev, the leader of the Soviet Union, introduced two significant policies: glasnost and perestroika. Glasnost meant openness, allowing for greater freedom of speech and expression. Perestroika aimed to restructure the Soviet economy, moving away from strict government control. These reforms had unintended consequences. The fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989 became a powerful symbol of these changes. One by one, communist regimes across Eastern Europe crumbled, replaced by democratic movements eager for independence. Gorbachev's reforms, intended to revitalize the nation, had inadvertently set in motion a chain reaction that would reshape the geopolitical landscape. The world watched with bated breath as the Soviet Union grappled with internal and external pressures. President George H.W. Bush approached the situation with a mix of caution and pragmatism. The Malta summit, held in December 1989, provided a crucial platform for dialogue. Bush and Gorbachev met aboard ships anchored off the coast of Malta, engaging in historic discussions about the future of Europe and the world. Bush, wary of appearing overly eager to exploit Soviet weaknesses, adopted a cautious approach. He emphasized the need for stability and a peaceful transition in Eastern Europe. The Malta summit marked a turning point in US-Soviet relations. It signaled a shift from Cold War tensions to a more cooperative, albeit uncertain, future. Both leaders recognized the need to manage the dismantling of the Iron Curtain and prevent further instability. The Soviet bear, once a symbol of strength and might, appeared weakened, its grip on power loosening. The West, led by the United States, treaded carefully, seeking to guide events towards a peaceful resolution. While Gorbachev navigated the complexities of international relations, the Soviet Union faced mounting internal challenges. His reforms, intended to modernize the country, had unleashed forces that he could not fully control. Economic turmoil and ethnic tensions created a volatile mix, threatening to tear the nation apart. Boris Yeltsin, a charismatic and ambitious leader, rose to prominence as a champion of reform and democracy. He challenged Gorbachev's authority, demanding greater autonomy for Russia and other Soviet republics. Yeltsin's defiance resonated with a population weary of communist rule and eager for change. The rivalry between Gorbachev and Yeltsin deepened the divisions within Soviet society, pitting reformers against hardliners. The stage was set for a dramatic showdown that would determine the fate of the nation. As the Soviet Union grappled with internal turmoil, its grip on its constituent republics weakened. The Baltic states of Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia, forcibly annexed into the Soviet Union after World War II, saw an opportunity to reclaim their independence. They declared their sovereignty, challenging Moscow's authority. In the Caucasus region, countries like Georgia and Azerbaijan also sought to break free from Soviet control. Ethnic tensions, suppressed for decades, erupted, fueling independence movements. Gorbachev faced a dilemma: suppress the independence movements with force, risking international condemnation and further internal instability, or negotiate a peaceful transition, potentially leading to the dissolution of the Soviet Union. The year 1991 witnessed a series of dramatic events that would seal the fate of the Soviet Union. In August 1991, the world watched in astonishment as a group of hardline communist officials attempted to seize control of the Soviet Union. They placed Gorbachev under house arrest, hoping to reverse his reforms and preserve the crumbling Soviet empire. This desperate attempt to turn back the clock, however, proved to be a fatal miscalculation. Boris Yeltsin, emerging as a powerful voice for democracy, rallied the Russian people against the coup plotters. He stood atop a tank in Moscow, defying the forces seeking to suppress the people's will. The coup collapsed within days, a testament to the power of popular resistance and the yearning for freedom that had taken root in Soviet society. Gorbachev, once a symbol of hope for reform, emerged from house arrest a weakened figure. The failed coup had shattered the illusion of Soviet unity and accelerated the disintegration of the empire. The failed August coup had dealt a fatal blow to the Soviet Union. The constituent republics, emboldened by the events in Moscow and sensing the shifting tides of history, intensified their push for independence. One by one, they declared their sovereignty, leaving the once mighty Soviet Empire a shadow of its former self. On December 8, 1991, the leaders of Russia, Ukraine and Belarus met in the Belovezhskaya Pushcha National Park, signing an agreement that would formally dissolve the Soviet Union. They established the Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS, a loose association of former Soviet republics, marking the end of an era. Gorbachev, clinging to the fading embers of his power, tried in vain to salvage a semblance of unity. On December 25, 1991, he resigned as President of the Soviet Union, lowering the red flag over the Kremlin for the last time. From the ashes of the Soviet Union emerged 15 newly independent nations, each facing the daunting task of forging its own path in a rapidly changing world. With the official dissolution of the Soviet Union, the United States faced the challenge of navigating a world without its Cold War rival. President Bush moved swiftly to recognize the independence of the former Soviet republics, signaling a new chapter in international relations. The US prioritized securing the Soviet nuclear arsenal, fearing the potential for proliferation and chaos. The Nunn-Lugar Act, passed in 1991, provided funding and assistance to help the newly independent states dismantle and secure their nuclear weapons. Beyond security concerns, the US also provided financial assistance to help stabilize the region and prevent a humanitarian crisis. The transition from a centrally planned economy to a market-based system proved challenging for many of the former Soviet republics, requiring significant economic reforms and international support. The fall of the Soviet Union marked the end of an era, but it also ushered in a new age of uncertainty. The world watched with a mix of hope and apprehension as the former Soviet republics embarked on their journeys as independent nations, facing the challenges and opportunities of a post-Cold War world.